Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to part two of the commemorative half dollar. Now remember, the half dollars or the silver coins, you are going to have some gold coins that have different denominations, but in retrospect, it's pretty much just the half dollars that we're looking at. Now, without further ado, we're going to go into this first coin. Now, I said earlier that there was going to be a secondary Daniel Boone. This is the bicentennial half dollar, also struck in 1934, and it commemorated the 200th anniversary of Daniel Boone's birthday. Now, when we flip this over, you're going to see Daniel Boone. He doesn't have the iconic coonskin cap that he's usually shown with, but on the reverse, you're going to see him in that hat. You're going to see him talking to a Native American. He's holding his rifle and a map of Kentucky. You're going to see that sun in the background, along with the blockhouse, the stockade that's there in the background. A really neat coin. Again, an American icon, Daniel Boone, famous for all sorts of fun stories. If there's anything you want to know about this or any other coin, please leave a comment down below. Now, the next coin is going to come to us from the province of Maryland. This is the tercentenary, also known as the 300th anniversary. This was also released in 1934, and on the obverse, you're going to see Lord Baltimore, a.k.a. Cecil Calvert. So when you look at Lord Baltimore, you're going to see him, and on the reverse, you're going to see this coat of arms. This is the Calvertian coat of arms. So really neat coin, very simple design. There's a lot going on, but it's not too much. Again, a lot of cool things with this particular one. Hans Schuler was the designer of this, did an extremely good job on this particular coin. The stars at night are big and bright. Welcome to Texas. This is the Texas Centennial half dollar, and it was released in 1934, and it commemorated the 100th anniversary of Texas declaring its independence from Mexico. Now, there's a lot happening on this particular coin. If you look at the front of it, you're going to see that eagle in front of that Lone Star. We are the Lone Star State. If you don't know, I'm from Texas. I am a transplant, wasn't born here. But again, down below, you see that eagle grasping that oak branch. Now, that oak branch is representative of strength and solidarity. Now, if you flip that over, you're going to have a really neat representation of a winged liberty. You'll see liberty above her head, and above that, you're going to see 6 battle flags. Now, to each side of liberty, you're going to see Houston and Austin. Now, those are 2 major cities, but those are 2 famous icons when it comes to the establishment of San Antonio and the Alamo. So you'll see her hand over Alamo along with the dates there below. Really neat coin. Now, if you want to find this coin, it's going to fetch quite the premium, but it absolutely is a fabulous coin and one that I eventually will end up with in my collection. This coin hails to us from Arkansas. Now, this is the Centennial half dollar, and it was first issued 1935. It commemorated the 100th anniversary of the admission in Arkansas and was reissued every year until 1939. Now, you can find these, they're pretty plentiful, and you can find these in pretty good condition. And because there's a lot of those, the price is pretty reasonable. You can see the 2 images there, Lady Liberty with the Indian on the front, showing the Arkansas, and then flip it over, you can see the Arkansas Centennial. You can see that state coat of arms. Neat piece. I really like the detail, but once again, as is representative in many of these coins, you're going to see that sun. Again, that sun is definitely something that you'll see all the way through this coin set. On this next coin, we're going to have the Connecticut, I say that terribly, tercentenary half dollar. Now, this is one that should stand pretty familiar. You're going to see 2 major icons. You're going to see the eagle with folded wings standing there on a rock. Again, freedom, independence. And then you're going to see the charter oak tree. Now, these are both representations that would be used on later coins, some normal circulating and others in the commemorative realm. So again, a very simple coin, but very nice and elegant. But this one is nowhere near as fun as the next coin in my set because of one thing. Oh, right there. It has another ship. So this is another ship coin. And this one comes to us from New York. This is the Hudson semi-quincentennial $50, released in 1935, which celebrates the 150th anniversary of Hudson, New York. Now, you can see the sill of the city of Hudson there, and then you flip it over and you'll see that two-masted sailing vessel with the moon in the background. I like the addition of the moon, but again, you know I love my ships, and so this is one of those coins that just happens to hit me in the right spot. You can find these for a fairly decent price, and again, once this is over and I start working on collecting more ships, the ships from this series are definitely something that I'm going to be working to get, but there are other coins in this set I will eventually work on. If you want to see a really cool set of this, ask Ringmaster Ray. He has quite a few of them along with Ashes. They both have really good sets of these. All right, moving on to another one. Now, this might look like a quarter to you because a state has recently used something like this in this particular one, but it's not what you're thinking of. This is a Texas steer, but it's actually the Old Spanish Trail. Now, this is in 1935, and it commemorated the 400th anniversary of Cabeza de Vaca and that exposition that they went on from Florida to El Paso. Now, you see this Texas steer skull. We see this on the Montana quarter when they did the state quarter. Very close, similar picture, reminiscent of this particular coin. And then on the back, you're actually going to show the map that was taken by Cabeza de Vaca. I'll eventually say that right one day. A really simplistic coin. It's very nice. I like the palm there in the front, the yucca. Really neat piece. Again, you can find these for a fairly decent price if you're looking to find something XFAU condition. Like all of these coins, when you start getting to the MS and the higher grades, the price definitely goes up. Some of these are highly collectible. This is one of those that will fetch a high price. This is the San Diego, California Pacific Exposition, issued in 35 and 36 to commemorate the city's exposition. They had a year and a half long exposition, and this was to commemorate that. Now, there's a lot on the obverse of this. You can see the ship in the background. You can see the bear, the Horn of Plenty. You can see the miner at work. You can see the Eureka. You can see Lady Liberty there with that really neat hooded head protector. Again, there's a lot of stuff going on. Very statuesque piece. And if you flip that over, you're going to see where the building of the exposition was held. San Diego, 1935, and again, issued 35 and 36. Really neat coin. These ones go for a little bit more and higher grades. Robert Aitken was the one who designed this, did a really good job with this particular piece. It is one of probably my top 10, 15 coins in this set. I do like this piece quite a bit. The next one is Albany, New York. You're going to see a lot of stuff come from specific cities along that eastern seaboard because, again, it played such a pivotal role in the founding of our nation. Here you're going to see Albany, New York, released 1936 for the 200th anniversary, the 250th anniversary of that city's charter. On the obverse, you're going to see that beaver with a branch maple seed. On the back, you're going to see Sir Thomas Donegan, the colonial governor, presenting Peter Schuller and Albany's first mayor, Robert Livingston, with a handshake. Really neat piece. You got the eagle soaring over the top of it. And like most, you're going to see that pine branch and the pine cone. It's a really neat design, very clean. I like the fact that some of these are very clean, but even though some of these are low relief, they're still designed very well. Some of the coins are low relief. They don't look good at all. Unfortunately, we talked about those in part one. There's one other coin in this particular set that we'll get to shortly. That's not one of my favorites because of that low relief design. In a high relief or maybe in a gold coin, it would look really nice, but in this case, they didn't do very well. I do like this particular one, though. Hats off to the designer on this one. Now, this is a really nice one. Again, we're talking city-specific. This is San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge, released in 1936. And you can see the grizzly. This is the symbol of California. It's absolutely a mammoth bear. Very cleanly done. You might even find a double die maybe on those claws or not. Wink, wink, hint, hint. But if you flip this over, you're going to see the historic ferry tower along with the other island, the East Hill Bay Bridge, or the East Bay Hill. Good grief! Eventually, I'll get those. The East Bay Hills. Let's try that a couple times again. Along with the Oakland Bay Bridge. That's a really neat coin. Again, a lot of really neat things happening on this particular coin. The next one, again, you're going to see this stylized representation of an eagle, very crisp, long lines. And on the front, you're going to see somebody that you might associate more with circus. This is P.T. Barnum. Now, this is the Connecticut Centennial Half, released on the anniversary of the 100th, the city's 100th. Now, this next coin, you're going to see a very stylized image of an eagle here on the reverse. And on the obverse, you're going to recognize the famous circus person, P.T. Barnum. Now, this is the Bridgeport, Connecticut Centennial Half, released to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the city's incorporation. And again, you got P.T. Barnum. Now, this is one of those that in really good condition is probably better than it is in most. Finding these in lower grades, they just don't look very good, but you get a really nice solid one in AU condition, and this is a really nice coin. Henry Chris did a good job of developing this coin. There's more that could have happened with this particular one. Not one of my favorites, but all in all, not a bad coin either. All right, let's dig into the Cincinnati Music Center $50, which released in 1936. Now, I like this one because you know my daughter Bifrost is big into music and art, and this is celebrating art. So Cincinnati was a city music center. This was something where there were a lot of contributions of music and art to the nation that came from Cincinnati, Ohio. And this is celebrating that 50th anniversary. And on the obverse, you're going to see Stephen Foster, an American composer. And then on the back, you'll see the lyre, the lady holding the lyre in elegant dress. They're performing, and you have In God We Trust. They're under E Pluribus Unum and Liberty. So this one doesn't represent, the lady doesn't represent liberty in this. Liberty is actually listed as a word. So this is one of those, it's a little bit, it meets the criteria, but not how you might normally see liberty as an icon. Now, I do like this. Constant Ordermeyer developed this particular coin. Again, simplistic, but I do like this. Bifrost really likes this because it represents two of the main things she likes in her hobby. This is the Cleveland Great Lakes Exposition, the 100th anniversary of the city of Cleveland. Again, the obverse, Moses Cleveland there, for which the city is named after. And then on the reverse, you're going to see Mapmaker's tool. Now you'll see the Great Lakes and the various cities that are located along the Great Lakes. It's kind of a map, if you will. Very nicely done. And again, understanding the history of Moses Cleveland and map making and the navigation and the understanding of the area that's around there. Very relevant to that. Brenda Putnam did a great job in the development of this particular one. Even in low relief, you can find great details in this coin. So this is very, very nicely done. The next coin in this set is going to come to you from South Carolina. It is the Columbia Semi-Quincentennial, the 150th anniversary of this city as the state capital. The verse you'll see Justice. You're going to see there with the sword and holding the scales. And then you'll see the old and the new versions of the Capitol building. And then if you flip that over, you're going to have the representation of the palmetto tree. And you're going to see the ribbons and the stars that also represent that. Now, the 13 stars represent the 13 original colonies. You guys know that song. If you don't, you need to learn it. These are all things in history that are lost to many of us over time. So again, A. Wolf Davidson did a great job in the development of this. Not one of my favorite coins, simply because I'm not a huge fan of the design, but they did it very well. There's so many great designs in this particular set to look for, like this one. Again, another ship, right? This is the Delaware Tercentenary, And the obverse of this coin is dated 1936, while the reverse has a different date. And the reverse is dated 1838. Now, this is the only one that has a dual date on it. Ironically, the coin was struck and minted in 37. So you have 3 dates to consider when you're looking at this particular coin, and I like the nuance, not necessarily just the simplistic of the design, but I like the fact that it has 36, 37, 38, but you don't see 37, but 37 was when it was minted. Kind of a cool little story there. So you'll see the old Swedish church that was there in Wilmington, and then on the back you're going to see the Commemorative, which is a ship that came from Gothenburg in 1637, founded by Jan Hendriksen van der Water. I hope I said that correctly. But due to storms, it actually delayed their arrival in the North Sea, and so they weren't able to actually get here until 1638 on New Year's Day. So again, they should have been here earlier, but there's multiple years on this particular one. So 1637, 1636 on the obverse, 1638 on the reverse. If you ever in any of my streams, you know I like to do trivia, pay attention to this one. Mark this, write this down under trivia questions from Frosty, because this is definitely something that I'll be asking in my trivia giveaways later on. All right, moving on to another one that's not a ship coin, but is very well done. This is the Eglin, Illinois Centennial $50. It was released for the 100th anniversary of that city's founding. Now you'll see the head of the Pioneer there on the obverse. You have that Pioneer listed across the top, and then you have the date, "In God We Trust." And then on the reverse, you have a group of 4 pioneers, 3 men, 1 lady. You'll see them represented very well. It does have E Pluribus Unum on the back along with $50. All right, so the next coin here comes to us all the way from Gettysburg. Now, Gettysburg celebrates 75th anniversary of what was undoubtedly one of the most crucial battles in the Civil War. This one was released in 1936. Now, the obverse design, you're going to see both Union and Confederate soldiers. Now, I've stated before that there are very minimal amount of coins that have dual images on the obverse that I really like. But what I like about this is the sternness that you see in the face. You can see expression here. You can see the determination, the drive to fight for what they believed in. I really like the design of the obverse of this coin. In fact, I'm going to put it amongst my top 5 in obverse designs in this particular set. Now, the reverse, you're going to see both the Union and Confederate flags separated by what's called a fasces. Now, a fasces is a single or a double-sided axe with bound wood. It's used. You see this on the Mercury dime. Again, a fabulous representation of battle and of the potential for peace. And if you look at the bottom of it, on both sides, you'll see oak and laurel. They both represent power, solidarity, struggle, independence. The laurel is utilized a lot. I actually did another video on things on coins to identify certain meanings of things. The laurel is one that I talked about, laurel wreath. So again, really, this is probably, outside of the ones that have the ships on them, this is probably one of my top 5 favorite coins in this particular set. I absolutely love this, and Frank Vitter did an amazing job on this particular coin. As we go to the next one, we talk about the second worst obverse, in my opinion, when it comes to 2 people being on there. I'm not even going to mention it. It's horrible. They did an amazing job on the ship, but I think that they were nearsighted or something on this particular obverse. I am not a fan of it at all, but this is the Long Island Tercentenary, the 300th anniversary of Long Island's founding. But again, on the back, you're going to see this really nice triple-masted sailing vessel. I do like this one for the obverse, but again, the reverse is the only reason I really care for this coin. I'm not a fan of the obverse at all. I just don't really care for it that much. The Indians partially covered It's very blocky, gigantic noses. It's horrible. This coin, in my opinion, is the second worst coin in this particular set. Sorry, Howard Weinman, but yeah, not a fan. All right, we come to the next one, and this is Lynchburg, Virginia. This is the semi-quincentennial celebrating the 150th anniversary of this city's founding. Now, you're going to see Senator Carter Glass on the front. And on the reverse, you're going to see the Statue of Liberty and the courthouse there in the back. Now, this is a very elegant design, and it's one of these that we talked about where the design is very simple, but it's the simplicity that makes the coin nice. Sometimes less is more, and I do really like this. It's a really good portrait there of Senator Glass. I do enjoy this piece. You see the Carter name on the bottom. Not a lot of coins in U.S. history have the person's name on them. There are only a few within the commemorative realm. This is one of them. But again, and some of them you'll see $50 on the front. Some of them you'll see their names. So there was kind of wishy-washy about what was on the front and what was on the back of the coin. But again, Charles Keck did a very good job on this particular coin. Now we're coming to an end here pretty quickly with these, but I have to by far say this is one of my favorite ships. I like the depth in this coin. I like how they've done the back. This is the Norfolk, Virginia bicentennial. Now, not only do I like this because it's Norfolk and it's the founding location for the United States Navy, it's also it's very busy, but there's a lot going on here. You'll see the borough there. You'll see the city center, 1845. You'll see the Chucks and the Hawks, the Chucks and the, you'll see the ship and the plow. That was really nice. Moving on to the next coin, it's probably one of my favorite of the ship coins, but it's a very busy coin. There's a lot of potential area for problems on this coin. So this would be something I would love to have a few of these and look for things like double dies. But this particular one is the Norfolk, Virginia bicentennial, celebrating the 200th anniversary of Norfolk becoming a borough. Now you can see the Norfolk borough, you can see the ship there, along with the stocks, the plow. You'll see the various stocks of grain sitting there in front of that. Again, you'll see the shells, Norfolk bicentennial. You'll see that there. And then you flip this over and you're going to see the Royal Mace. Now, the Royal Mace, it's something that there's only a few of these that have royal symbols on them. This is one of those. Again, looking at this, knowing what came over, there's still a little bit of homage being paid on this particular coin to the founding fathers, or to the people who came over. Not so much to the founding fathers, but you'll see, again, the floral sprigs on each year. I do like this coin. It's very well done. And again, one of these coins that in a high value, high dollar amount, they're kind of hard to come across. You can find these. Most of these coins are pretty much available to everybody, but in high grades, you're going to have a definite tough time finding this one. Done by William Mark Simpson. Again, bravo. You've done a great job on this coin. As we go to the next one, again, another naval theme. Again, our foundation of our nation was founded by people coming across on ships. So the ties to America and the seafaring world is huge. Like there's so many things that are tied not only to our nation's Navy history, but to general naval commerce. So you'll see that here as we look at the Rhode Island tercentenary, and this commemorates the 300th anniversary of the city of Providence. Now you'll see the rock there again, the sun in the background, again, common feature. And you'll see an early setter there with Roger Williams getting out of his canoe, being met by a native Indian, American Indian there. And you'll see, again, the reverse. You'll see that shield of the state of Rhode Island. Nice coin. Let's go to the next one. Again, you'll see Arkansas, the same symbol there, except this time it's one of those that is flipped. people often get the obverse reverse wrong in this because the other time that you saw the seal of Arkansas, it was the reverse of the coin. On this coin, it's the obverse. Now, when you look at this particular one, you're going to see Joseph Robinson there on the reverse, and you're going to see the Arkansas Centennial located with the date there as well. So again, remember when you see this one is backwards, Arkansas is on the front, where the other one, Arkansas, is on the reverse. Moving on to this one, you're going to see the Wisconsin Territorial Centennial Half Dollar, the 100th anniversary of the establishment of the government of Wisconsin. Now you see the badge or the symbol of Wisconsin, and then when you flip that over, you're going to see the man arm holding a pike amongst a pile of ore, signaling the main output of this particular element during this time frame. The 4th day of July in the year of our Lord, 1836, Anno Domini, meaning the year of our Lord. Again, Benjamin Hawkins, did a great job with this. I'm very happy with this coin. Not a huge fan of the obverse, but again, overall, it's good. This is another one of those that could be so much nicer in a high relief. If this has any wear on it, this coin just kind of loses everything about it. This is the York County, Maine Tercentenary, celebrating the 300th anniversary of York. You'll see here the Saco River, and then you'll see that Stockdale that's located there again, Liberty in the Sun, right? Representative there on the obverse, and then you'll see that seal of York County there with a year of the 300-year span. Walter Rich did a decent job in this, but again, this is one of those that as the coin wears, you really lose a lot of detail. So you need to have one of these in kind of a higher relief. This one is celebrating Antietam. Now, if you don't know the Battle of Antietam, it was by far one of the most bloodiest battles in American history. If you don't know the history of the Battle of Antietam, I highly recommend that you go do this. This is definitely one of the coins that I will be doing a follow-up video on in this particular series because there's so much history about what happened here and the amount of lives and the amount of blood that was spilled. On the obverse, you have Generals McClellan and Lee represented there on the front. This is not a bad obverse with two people. It's probably right in the middle of my road when it comes to nicety of of two people sharing the obverse of a coin. But you see a really picturesque obverse, and I really like the obverse of this. You see the bridge there, the Battle of Burnside. That's the Burnside Bridge. Again, just an amazing coin overall. I think they did a really good job, and William Mark Simpson should be proud of the work he did in the development of this particular coin. Next, you're going to see the Roanoke. Now, again, Roanoke being one of the first, you're going to see Sir Walter Raleigh gracing the obverse of this. Now, I like the fact that they did this in the old design. I really like how they utilized the standard portraiture of Sir Walter Raleigh. It's very well done. And on the obverse, you're going to have a couple ships, not one of my favorite ship coins, but you're going to see a woman with her two sailing ships and that infant, talking about a very fledgling nation, the birth of a nation, that founding colony there at Roanoke. It's a really nice coin. I like what they've done here. And again, William Mark Simpson does a great job in representing exactly the story he wanted to convey. So again, hats off to this designer for these two particular coins. When you get to the next one, there's a little bit of a nuance on the reverse of this, and that is not a lily. It's actually a fleur-de-lis. It's more of a modern interpretation of the fleur-de-lis. But on the obverse of this, you're going to have something that, well, what is he doing to that poor thing? It's actual John Pell, and he's leading a calf. This is the 250th anniversary of the founding of New Rochelle there in Westchester County, New York. So it is a decent design. Again, not one of my favorites. I think they could have done so much more. I do like the shoes and how they've done the representation of the old classic style there. But I do really understand. I'm going to have to do some more research about what the pulling the calf around is for. I'm not sure exactly what that represents. So there's a lot in this coin that's lost to me. So that might be one reason that I don't necessarily care for this particular design. All right, coming to this one, again, another very simplistic one that tells a story. It's Iowa, and it is the commemorative 100th anniversary of the state of Iowa. There you'll see on the reverse the Iowa State seal. You'll see that eagle, and then you'll see the number of stars that were in place when they came into the Union. Again, a really nice one, but I like what they have here on the bottom. Our liberty, our rights. We prize and will maintain. I really like that. I never knew that that was the motto of Iowa, but I absolutely like that because just like the military and the things that we fight for our freedom, we fight for our rights, and we prize them. So I really like this. I really like what they've done. And Adam Pites did a great job in the development of this. I really like how they put this together. I know we've shown a lot of these, but this is probably one of the coins I have to say really let me down. Now, this is a very popular one. This is 1951 to 1954, the George Washington Carver and Booker T. Washington. And the reason I don't like this is because the history that these two men generated, the relevant nature, the historical significance of these two men to be put together in such a washed out version on the obverse is a travesty. The reverse looks like something that was just kind of thrown together. This coin could have been so much better. And while Isaac Scott Hathaway did a decent job on this, I am not a fan of this coin. If you think about the Tuskegee Institute and what happened with its founder, Booker T. Washington, and you look at the things that happened as far as the agricultural movement and the things in development and how he grew our nation, Mr. Washington Carver, the impact that they had on our nation, there could have been such a really cool coin design that this is probably the biggest letdown coin of the set for me, mainly because I knew there was a great opportunity for this. And while I have this coin, it's nice, it's collectible, but it's not one of my favorites. And unfortunately, Isaac Scott Hathaway, in my opinion, dropped the ball. I know a lot of people like this. It is an Americanism style reverse, but the map of the USA, they could have done so much better. All right, folks. Well, that wraps it up for me. I hope you've enjoyed this tour of the 50 coins. I'm going to put this back up here so it's not just me in the bottom corner. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this is something you've enjoyed the walkthrough. And as I stated, both in part 1 and part 2, if there is something that you identify, if there's something that you find in this particular set that really interests you, do me a favor. Reach out to me. Let me know that you want to know more about these coins. I'm considering doing a year-long story about each one of these, kind of digging in to the coins and the history. If that's something that you really want, please let me know. It's a hell of an investment for me in time. But if you guys want it, I need you to tell me. So let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to pick out certain coins and then just do certain ones. All right, folks, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Frostbyte. If you've enjoyed this, please drop that thumb, subscribe, share it out. If this is something that you guys have really enjoyed, let other people know about it. It really helps the channel. It's free to you, but it really helps me understand what it is that you guys like. All right, folks, love you. Be well, be blessed, and I will see you later on. Take care.